everybody, I'm Robert Batlle. Welcome to my channel. I'm gonna talk about shocks today. I will make 3 different videos. Today we are gonna talk about pistons. Next video we'll talk about springs, and the last video I will talk you about the shock caps and bladders and how to do shock with zero rebound. So let's start with this. This is a 1/8 baggy shock or damper. It depends on how you say it. This is from my Mugen MDX8. This is the complete shock. If we take this out, then we have the spring here. With this ring, we go down, and the right height of the car will go up. So if we go up, the right height will be lower. So this is the cap. Here we have the bladder. We have air inside, and the bladder, it makes the shaft go outside. When we compress it, then it go outside. So it makes this makes it on the shock. So we'll talk about the pistons, which it goes inside. And we have some different pistons. I will talk about the conical pistons, standard pistons, which is flat on both sides, and also the VRP pistons, for example, in this case, that they have like a little thing that it goes up on extension in this case, and it makes in compression like 8 holes, for example, and extension you have 10 holes. It has like a little membrane, I don't know in English, like bladder or something similar. This thing, it goes up and it goes through the oil. So I will start with the conical piston. About the conical shape, the difference, it's not really a big difference. It has a difference between the flat side and the conical side, but it's not something super big. So the standard setup for me, for the Mugen, is conical piston front and rear, 8 holes 1.2, 8 holes 1.3, the conical down, front and rear, and sometimes rear flat, or also like the VRP pistons with a different extension and compression. So the conical thing, the conical side, if we go down, I feel my car with less roll. It has a little less forward traction from my point of view, but it's better for sharp edge bumps, for example, and things like that. When I go on the conical side up, it has more forward traction, and it goes better on the soft bumps when you go fast. But it's a little more difficult to drive from my point of view on steering. It's like more steering into the corner. With the conical down, it's a little bit more sensitive at the beginning, but inside the corner it's a little bit easier. That's why I go with the conical down always. Then we have, this is the difference between the conical and flat size. The most common is flat size, but as I told you, to go with the straight holes on conical shape or not conical or completely flat, it's not a huge difference, so I would not become mad about it. But these pistons from Ultimate Racing, they have 8 holes 1.2, which is the red, and 8 holes 1.3, which is the blue ones. Then they have the 7 holes 1.2 and 7 holes 1.3, which is green and yellow, but I still didn't test it a lot, so I will talk about this. What they have is they have the conical holes also. So that means the oil through the piston, it goes during more time. So it's like a wider piston, and it makes the car to have more pack. What's the pack? When I say pack, it means when, for example, the shock goes like normal, in a normal condition, and suddenly it goes full compression, like super fast. So the pack makes that compression harder. So it will stay more time to arrive to the compression. So it goes like this, soft. And when you hit a bump or like a big landing or something like that, it compresses so fast. So the pack, as more pack, more difficult to compress. So it means better landing on highlands, or for example, in a fast tracks with sharp edge bumps, for example, that the car hit the bump so hard. So the pack makes the car let pass all that bumps better. So I like to have this pack mainly in front. With the pack, the car rolls a little less on high speed and so on, and makes the car easier to drive from my point of view. Maybe with more pack, you have the car, it's a little bit more difficult to drive on high speed and so on, or soft bumps, for example, it moves more the car. But on steering from a new one, for example, it's always easier to drive in overall condition. That's why I always use the conical in front. For example, the difference between 1.2 holes and 1.3 holes, saying that always 8 holes, for example, if we go to 1.2 to 1.3, with bigger hole, it will make the car roll more, but we'll have also more forward traction, and it will go better on the soft bumps. It will be easier to drive. But if we go smaller hole, we'll have less balance on the car. We'll have a little bit less traction, less grip, but it will be easier to drive on high grip conditions. So we have to make a balance between both. That's why I use 1.3 on the rear, just to make the car rolling a little bit more, and also it will make the car easier to drive when accelerating at the beginning of the corner, or coming into the corner. It will have a little bit more stability. So this is the difference on bigger hole or lower hole or smaller hole. So when we go, for example, for 8 holes to 5 holes, but always with the same area, so it means the space the oil have in the piston to go through one side of the hole to the other one, it's exactly the same, but we put more holes on smaller diameter or less holes with more diameter. So the difference will be, as smaller holes, we set more pack. So with more holes and smaller holes, we'll have more pack. So it means on high speed or sharp edges and so on, it will be easier to drive, but it will be a little bit more difficult and more sensitive because of less rolling, and it will be, from my point of view, it will be most of the time easier to drive. But what that's true is that, and I asked also with JQ, with Toolkit and so on, that with more holes and smaller diameter, you can go a little bit softer because you have more pack, so no need to go harder. So it's better for coming into the corner, and on different grip conditions, for example, it adapts better on the track. But that's true that for high grip corners, especially on the small high grip corners or soft bumps and so on, it's better with less holes and bigger diameter, because you can go a little bit harder oils. But honestly, what I tested a lot of times is, at least with the Mugen, from 8 holes to 5 holes, the oil, it always, I feel more when it goes more hot, and the car starts to move much with 5 holes, for example, than 8 holes. So I prefer always to go 8 holes, that you can go with the thinner oil a little bit, and you have the pack for a big hits and hard landings. And sincerely, I always prefer the 8 holes on the Mugen car. It's easier to drive from my point of view. Maybe a little bit more sensitive, that's true at the beginning, but overall it's easier. But as I told you, pistons is not a thing that I change so much, so I would test all this in your home track and to learn and to feel what you feel on your car driving it, instead of taking this and started to change it in the middle of a race, because you can become lost so easy. So my advice is to test it on your home track. If you can test it, and let me know down here or send me a message, whatever, and tell me if you felt the same I'm explaining you, or you feel different things. If you feel different things, just let me know and we can talk about it, talk which setup you use, and maybe it's because of the setup, or maybe I got wrong sometimes, I don't know, something like this. So from my point of view, this is what I feel with the different pistons. I hope you understood. Also about the pistons like VRP, for example, I forgot this. I use them on medium to low grip, just because on extension it has like 10 holes instead of 8, for example, so it rolls more. It has more forward traction from my point of view, but it rolls more. So on high speed they are a little bit easier, but I feel always too much roll for high grip conditions. So I use them mainly on rear for medium to low grip. So this is all. Remember, the next video I will talk about springs. It will come next week for sure. I know I took maybe 1 month since last video. I'm really sorry. But next video, it will be next week about talking about springs. I hope you liked that video. Remember to share it and comment down here if you like it. And we see you on the next video. So bye bye. Thank you.